I welcome all of you, particularly after lunch. Getting attendance and attention both is challenging, but hopefully people will keep on coming and we will have good audience. Public transport electrification is very much essential, and firstly I must thank ISGF for taking this as a subject and focusing on this subject so that some more focus from government comes onto it. There are several challenges. You have been listening since the morning, many things about battery capacity, charging anxiety. So there are several issues. So during this session, we will hear from all experts what they have to say and what is their experience about electric mobility or public transportation electrification. So I will start with my presentation first. So I am unable to see it. Oh, yeah. Okay. So if you look at the challenges what we have, so first opportunities. So first opportunity which I see is globally electrification of vehicles is a norm now, and thing I see in next 8 to 10 years will become a past. That is what everybody is hoping. And this is coming mainly out of green initiative of most of the countries. India is not behind, and in fact India has taken a lot of initiative, and with particularly Niti Ayog's initiative in pushing electromobility or EV vehicles by coming up with FAME kind of subsidies and FAME kind of schemes, I would say. More and more emphasis is given for electric vehicles. Actually, I am unable to see. Anyway, I am unable to see what is there. I will go to next slide. There are several opportunities in this field, but there are similarly at the same time there are challenges also. So what are the challenges? So challenges are first and foremost is there is very little understanding about what electrification of public transport means. Traditionally, when we talk about public transport is looked upon by just take buses or whatever vehicles and start running them, and that is the kind of public transport we have been seeing. But when it comes to actual electric mobility, there are several challenges. One of the biggest challenge is availability of infrastructure and overall industry's readiness to ensure that you get right kind of vehicles, you get right kind of infrastructure, particularly when it comes to electrification. Though electrification or electricity is available in furthest or smallest town, getting right kind of load and getting quality electricity which is very reliable is most challenging. Charging infrastructure, there are several two particularly different kind of chargers what we have, European standard and Chinese standard. So depending on what kind of vehicle you buy, you need to also look at what kind of charging infrastructure you require. Manpower, overall in public transport since the beginning, there is a shortage of manpower. And when it comes to electrification, knowledge base is so small that going to large numbers with limited number of trained manpower is going to be a serious challenge. So for that, we need to have actually some kind of system wherein we keep on training people, those who can take this forward. Globally, cost of acquisition or capex is also a serious challenge. Just to give you some idea, for example, now the kind of buses what we are using for public transport today, cost of that bus, which is ordinary bus, will cost you somewhere around 30 to 40 lakh rupees, whereas high-end buses like Volvo would cost you somewhere around 1 crore rupees. But when it comes to electric vehicles, it would cost you almost double. So compared to, and 99% of the vehicles are of 30 lakh, 40 lakh category. So from going there directly to a vehicle which is about 2 crore in initial costing, that is a serious challenge. And that is why adoption of EV is becoming little slow. When it comes to actually operation of the vehicle, if you operate vehicle, we very recently started Pune-Mumbai bus service. So basic first question which was asked was, what is the range? So will in single range that bus will reach from point A to point B? So due to range anxiety, people are hesitant and people feel that if I take that vehicle and if I don't get electric charger at the right time, what would happen? What do I do with that vehicle and how do I move forward? I operate buses in Pune and Mumbai, electric buses. On one particular day, there was issue related to charging because there was no electricity. So in a city wherein people are so much dependent on public transport, if one day for whatever reason electricity is not there, then the entire city will come to standstill. So continuous generation and continuous availability of electricity is also a serious challenge today. From financing point of view also, bankers are not currently willing to fund these vehicles because they are not sure whether even if they other party doesn't pay them on time, if they take that vehicle back, how do they sell that vehicle? So bankers or financiers are also not willing to fund it. And if they fund it, their funding structure is 5 years funding structure, and that 5-year funding structure is not useful for electric because your life of bus itself would be higher. So it requires different kind of funding structure, and hopefully going forward that also will be solved. On top of that, in FAME 2, government has said that operator will have to give bank guarantee which is equivalent to the subsidy which government is giving. Now for people like us from private sector, particularly corporates, when they go to bank to take bank guarantee, bank asks same amount of money to be deposited in the bank, and against that they give you bank guarantee. So that means giving this subsidy does not have that effect wherein your cash flows are better. So that is also a serious challenge. So this is about, again coming back to my original point, when we talk about electric mobility, it is very important that we actually look at it from different perspective rather than only running buses. So starting from selection of what kind of vehicle technologies you would have. So whether you would like to have a fully battery operated vehicle which is stored in the vehicle itself, or whether you would like to have pantograph or flash charging, every bus stop you keep on charging, and then 5-minute charge, and then you run for say 5 kilometers or 10 kilometers. Again, next bus stop you wait and do that. Or third is battery swapping. So these are 3 different kind of technologies of charging that also you need to see which technology is suitable for your kind of operations and take that call. That is again challenging because nobody has experience of any of these technologies. So people are struggling what technology to adopt, what type of vehicles to adopt. Second is availability of quality power at charging stations, because charging station also requires a charger which is suitable for your trip schedules. For example, if you have only 1 hour between 2 trips, or if you are charging only at night, or you are charging between 2 shifts. So depending on what kind of time you have in between 2 trips or 2 shifts, so you need to charge your vehicle again. So in a single charge, I am going to show you some graphs after this, that what effect it would have if your charger is not right. We have 2 chargers presently. One charger takes about 8 hours to charge full battery, and second charger charges the same battery in about 2 hours. So selection of charger as per your requirement is also equally important, because fast charger, I was told, though I am not an expert in electric, if you charge your battery faster, by faster charge, life of the battery will come down. So unnecessarily using fast charger all the time also will not be useful. So selection of charger also is going to be your challenge. Capacity of battery, which is related to this, in a single charge, how much kilometers or how many kilometers you can run, depending on your trip length, or depending on your, there are multiple effects of consumption of battery. If your road is, say, ghat section, if it is plain, so it is dependent on topography, geography of your route. Second, if that temperature is higher, temperature is lower, so ambient temperature also matters. Third, there is a tendency in our country to overload vehicles. So if your vehicles are overloaded, it will consume more battery. If your route is congested because of traffic, it will consume more battery. So all these factors, unless you take into consideration finalization of route, trips and schedules, everything is very difficult. So considering all this, you need to plan your trips and scheduling and frequency. So if you do not do that, then you face serious challenges. This is EV operations required better condition and execution. It is not only about, when it comes to traditional IC vehicles, operations are traditionally done for several years and nothing actually changes. But when it comes to EV, your operational experiences are very much different than what your IC experience says. So data analytics, you need to train your people well, because if you do not have trained people, we have drivers wherein one driver on the same time, on the same route, is consuming 1.3 kilowatts of power per kilometer, whereas other driver is coming in 1.1. Same route, same time, everything remaining same. So you need to also train your people well, and all that is dependent on how much kilometers your vehicle is going to run. So training is important. Then you should have charging capacity which is equal to your trip length. Now I will take you some experiences of what our drivers say. Drivers honestly are very happy. When we gave these vehicles to drivers, initially they were hesitant because you need to use your horns. And now we tell them to avoid horns. But since there is no sound, it is very difficult to operate that in congested area. But the kind of smooth ride which it gives, now it is becoming difficult for us to shift those drivers from electric vehicle to our normal IC engine vehicles. And same is the case with customers. So in Pune particularly, we are operating parallelly IC as well as electric vehicles on the same route with different frequencies. So on the same route you have IC vehicles as well as electric vehicles. People wait for 15-20 minutes for next bus to arrive. So that is the kind of attraction what we have with IC. So I believe this is one of the best chance for cities to change image of public transport. Traditionally, image of public transport has not been that good, but this is our biggest opportunity to change that image of public transport. And this is slowly changing. I have seen it in Mumbai, I have seen it in Pune. There are certain improvements which are required. As I said, first is the kind of subsidy what government is giving, which is equivalent to your subsidy, bank guarantee, that needs to be changed. Secondly, tender conditions. There are several tender conditions which also city to city are different, but those tender conditions also need to be changed. Third is city authorities are defining roles of partners. So what would be the role of manufacturer, what would be the role of operator, what would be the role of financer. But those roles are overlapping and it need not be defined by authority to that detailed extent. Many tenders give shared infrastructure, which is not a good thing. In one particularly depot, if you have multiple operators, then there is a serious challenge in sharing that infrastructure. Then different operator plans it differently and it becomes a bone of content for everybody. This is a traditional challenge what we have, that most of the cities do not give you right kind of infrastructure. They do not give you right information about routes, what kind of frequency, what kind of load factor they are expecting. And on the basis of this lack of information, tendering is becoming difficult. So electric mobility has to be taken more seriously than I see, because all these things are connected. It is not as simple as saying that ye route pe bus chalu kar do. It requires different kind of planning, and it requires very serious planning, and it requires dedicated team to ensure that whatever you plan is getting executed. So there are some of the charts I will take you to. So if you see, these are bus types, bus weights, seat capacity, battery capacity in kV, and kilometers per SOC and kilometers per R, kWh, and kWh per kilometer. So if you look at Pune and Mumbai experience of 9 meter and 12 meter, you will find there is a difference. So that difference is out of two things. One is ambient temperature and second is traffic condition. Because both cities overload, so that factor is same for everybody. But in Mumbai, you will find it is consuming more, and in Pune it is consuming less. So this needs to be also considered while deciding on trip length and time of the trip and schedule and frequency. This is almost again a same kind of route length, trips and SOC and battery life what it takes. So normally we plan even trips. If you want to plan odd trips, that is also a serious challenge, because on other side you don't have infrastructure to charge your batteries. So you need to consider return trip distance and not one-way distance. So that is why I said that operating electric buses is not that simple as operating your traditional buses. On this note, I thank you all of you and encourage you to ask experts your questions, and thank you very much.